Now it's stuck to me and I can't get it. There we go. I'm like, oh, I can't get rid of it. All right, so I'm going to set those aside because they're shell-free. And I didn't have any egg yolk fall into them, so double win. This seems to be going not too badly. Just grab a whisk here. We're just going to combine these. You just want to get them really well combined. Like almost like a pale yellowy color. Yeah. True. I should make some meringue so that we can put things on fire. Let that whisk that up a bit. Stir this. Actually, I'm gonna put my little thing there. That way it won't slide around on me as I'm doing this. It's funny, both my hands want to be making the same motion right now. So it's like, I have to remember, whisk on this one, just stir gently on this one. Just gonna dip my finger. Okay, that's actually perfect. I'm gonna turn that off and the spoon out. And we are going to give these eggs a bit more of a whisk because you want them to be a little bit paler than when you start. And you can already see the color change starting there. And then we are going to temper the eggs. You'll need the VOD of this later. No. For what? For what, I ask? Okay. Okay, so as you can see, the texture is getting more billowy. The color has lightened up. And so now we are ready to very slowly, very slowly, because we don't want to scramble the eggs. Look at you, it's cooking. Okay. So we're just going to do a little bit at a time because we don't want to scramble the eggs. I am going to sieve this after too, but basically we just want to make sure that we get the eggs and the milk at the same temperature before we put it back on the heat. You guys see that? Just turn sideways here so you get a better view. And you have to whisk constantly or you're going to risk getting that scrambled egg, and you're always going to end up with a little bit of scrambling happening. It's unavoidable. The albumins in the egg it's a inevitable thing. But you don't want to dump it all in and cause it all to seize up. Although vanilla scrambled eggs might not be that terrible. Cat, good to see you! Hope you're having a great weekend. Hope you had a good Canada Day. Okay. Sweat. I'm like, this is... Oh my god, these apples smell so good. Like, my face is almost in them, and I'm like, this is really tasty. Okay. So, getting closer. And you can go a little faster once you've sort of evened out the temperatures. It doesn't take very long. And okay, so we've done pretty much there, and you can see it's nice and smooth, which is exactly what you want. It means that I did not be over aggressive with the adding of the milk, so we're doing well. We're doing well. And okay, so pretty much at the very end here, you can pretty much just steady stream it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pour this right back into the pot. Just going to wipe the sides down so it doesn't burn on the burner there. And get this back on the heat and sort of medium-low. And we're just going to keep whisking until it thickens up really nicely and you've got that beautiful custard. And this is great because it can be used for so many things. Like it's the perfect ice cream base. And one of these days I will do ice cream on stream. And then this is basically the start of any ice cream that you make that you would make in a churner. And you can see there's a couple pieces in the bowl that have like yolky pieces, so we're just not going to pour those in. And now we just keep whisking. And you want to get it to the point where it's thick enough to coat the back of a spoon. So this won't take very long. Just hoping that my pie crust is resting nicely in the freezer. Getting a little bit of extra stiffness to it. I'm actually going to... Oh, okay, that spoon. It's close enough. I'm like, oh, I should grab a spoon to actually see if it is coating the back of the spoon. But the one thing you'll notice when you're making anything like a custard or a curd, when you first start off like this, it's all really bubbly on the top. Once you sort of hit that point where it's thickening up well, you'll all of a sudden notice that just sort of goes away. So it's almost instantaneously. That's like sort of how you can tell. Like if you give it a whisk like this and these stick around, you know you've still got a ways to go. So for the Americans, anybody got big plans for tomorrow? And for the Canadians, did you guys do anything fun this weekend? Go away? I'm like, usually May long weekend is the weekend you shouldn't go camping, but you're usually safe this time of year. Except this year, so. Luckily, I am not a camper, so that's not an issue. But it's funny, I think it rained all day yesterday because I had said the night before, gonna go shoot guns. At a range, or are you hunting, or are they super soakers? Yeah, I think the reason it rained here all day yesterday is simply because I said the day before that, oh, I'd like to have a bonfire in my parents' backyard. Because we hadn't had one for a while. Oh, okay. Like skeet shooting or targets? Okay, we're getting pretty close there. You can see it starting to get a little thicker as we're going here. Oh, it smells so good. I don't think there's anything more perfect than vanilla custard. It really is kind of like the best. It smells so good. And as you can see, like those big bubbles are really starting to go away. And it's getting much... You can almost see that down in the center when you don't have that covering of bubbles on the top. Getting pretty close here. Oh, that's awesome, database. Is it a big party or just a small gathering? And oh, nothing better than a barbecue with the family. Okay, I think that's definitely on my agenda for sometime soon. Haven't really had the weather for barbecuing. Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm thinking getting pretty close here. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that you can go and, like, in Vegas shoot, like, all kinds of guns, and I'm assuming that's the same with any place that has a shooting range. Retro Grave, good to see you! Welcome in. Thank you for coming by. And thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. And you stepped in just in time for some custard. We are making some apple pie today. Thai apple pie. And custard and caramel, if it all goes well. Okay, and as you can see, it's starting to have a little bit of a bubble there, so I'm just gonna grab my spoon, see where we're at with the consistency. You can definitely tell it's coming along nicely, so let's just do that, and you should be able to drag your finger through and it should leave a trail. So we are perfect. We're going to take that off the heat so that it doesn't burn. Just gonna slide that there. Okay, enough out of you. And then I am going to grab a bowl and a sieve. Just gonna move the burner out of the way because it's served its purpose for now. Oh! Sorry guys. That's twice. Man, I am not doing well with the keeping this in one place today. Oh my goodness. Okay. That fell directly onto the... That was like, you know, that action shot. That's what the burner looks like. No kidding. I'm having a tough time with this outlet today. Not my finest hour with that one. So okay. And then I'm just going to push this through the sieve here just to make sure that if there are any little scrambly bits that we get rid of them. And I'm not going to do that with the spatula that I used earlier. You don't want to potentially add any of that egg yolk stuff back in. Perfect. Okay. And let's give it a bit of a slide through there.
Great job.
You can see there is stuff in there, so it's always a good idea to sieve anything like this. Just that way it's super, super smooth. You definitely don't want that in your custard. And always scrape the bottom of your sieve. Don't want to leave any of that goodness behind. And just give that a bit of a stir. Oh yeah, I'm happy with that consistency because this is supposed to be a pouring custard. You don't want it like super thick. And now, so in order that we don't end up with the skin on it, I am going to just place plastic wrap over it. I am a klutz. It's actually kind of amazing that I, haven't hurt myself or burnt things down, or because in my normal life, day to day, I'm terrible. I trip over absolutely nothing. I fall up the stairs. I manage to walk into tables that have been in the exact same place for years, or I cut a corner as I'm coming around one too close and end up smashing into it with the shoulder. So yeah. Okay, so, and this is just going to help keep it from forming a skin, which is that sort of weird, when you leave anything that's dairy for a little too long and it starts to cool off, you sort of get that layer on the top that you can peel off. It's not terrible. It's just not a pleasant texture, and if you can't peel it all off, you can end up with lumps. So I'm going to let this sit aside to cool, and we are going to try and see if our pastry is ready to go. Fingers crossed. I'm just going to move this out of the way so that we're not... Got lots of space here. And, okay, moment of truth. Hopefully this pastry is cool enough to be rolled out now. Oh, yes. Okay. That is... Okay. One of them's going to stay in the freezer for a little bit longer, but that's okay because we want to leave it in there anyways. I'm going to grab my mat and my pin. And we're going to get this going. Also, I'm going to start heating my oven. What do I need it heated to? I need to find the right recipe. That would be really helpful. I think I moved my... Oh, 400. Okay. I moved my recipe into a different order, and I think I put one piece in the wrong place. So, there we go. Okay. We're good. We're good. So I'm gonna preheat my oven to 400. Going. It'll up there, and then give that a bit of a scrape, because this is from earlier, so we'll just move that out of the way. Perfect. Hopefully, I'm almost tempted to do this on parchment, just because I don't want it to stick. But, oh, this looks so good. I'm actually really, really happy with this. You can still see chunks of butter in there. That's gonna be... Tat, good to see you! I feel like I'm yelling sometimes when I get excited when people show up. I'm gonna grab parchment because, you know what? As lovely as this is, I just have this feeling that if I don't, we're gonna have a sticking nightmare today, so. I really want this to go well. Plus, that'll make it easier to transfer later, because I know they say just roll it up on your rolling pin, but I'm the worst. Gravy-filled apple pie. Yes, all the gravy. Although, you would have been not pleased. Underground, actually, I made him a poutine the next day, and there was just a little bit of the gravy left over, and he actually just drank it straight out of the bowl after I'd put together the poutine for him, so... Yeah, alright, we're gonna start her off here. Oh yeah, she's sticky. And you just wanna, like the other day, turn it every once in a while. Just that way you have a better hope of getting an actual circle, which seems to be something I struggle with. So, and also if you're not rolling on parchment, it also will help keep things from sticking, because if you do it too often in one direction, it quite often will stick, so. Okay. Yeah. And we want to get this fairly thin. You need to have about a 12 inch diameter circle, so just keep rolling and turning. You want to do this fairly quickly because you don't want the butter to start melting, although I am, after we get the dough back into the pie plate and get it filled with the apples, I am going to slide it back into the freezer while I make the cuts for the lattice. So, you know, anytime you have an opportunity to chill it while you're working, yeah. It was delicious. I was actually really impressed, considering it was a gravy not made with, like, drippings from a roast. It's a pretty solid recipe. I'll definitely use it for... It's actually kind of the perfect gravy for poutine. I think it was the right consistency, had that nice beefy flavor. Yeah. And rolling under parchment also helps with the keeping it from cracking too much, so because you're not putting that pressure directly on the dough. Man, I'm getting a workout today. Apparently I decided that I needed to do a little more upper body work in the kitchen. That's like all this is today. Is it 20 degrees out? Really? Didn't feel like that. It was really cool earlier, but I face west, so I don't actually get the sun until later on in the day. Like, even at this time of year with the sun being super high, it doesn't actually hit my balcony till 5 o'clock-ish. So, okay. Let's take a look here. As you can see, still got those nice chunks of butter in there. And just gotta keep it moving. So we need to get this 12-inch circle. And then we need to stuff it in the pie plate. Now I'm using a 2-inch deep plate. I like a deep dish pie, and then that way the apples will sit better too. I'm just gonna put that together there. And that's the beauty of pie crust too, is it sort of has a bit of give to it. You can always slide it back together. Yeah, it is humid. Considering how much water I had to add to this crust, I'm actually kind of surprised that it was that humid. Because it's usually like in the teens here, so. Almost 50% is pretty unheard of. But we've had a ton of rain too, so I guess there's that. Starting to be slightly more aggressive with it now. Let's see where we are. So I need it to come all the way out here. We're nowhere near. That's the good thing about this mat is it has the guide, so you can sort of judge where you are. Usually I over-roll, so you want to make sure that you have enough to fit in the pie plate and hang over the sides. I feel like I'm just torturing this pie crust. But that's the thing with all butter crusts, is they are a little more difficult because you've got those chunks in there. Aw, thanks Chroma and Retro, appreciate it. Have a happy 4th of July. Thanks for stopping by. Okay. Are we getting there? We're getting there. We're getting there. We're at about 10 inches now, so it's about 5 hours more of rolling and we should be good. No, I'm kidding. Won't be that bad. But it's actually coming out circular, which is kind of amazing because I tend to have real issues making circles, so I'm super impressed with that. Ooh. Okay, you guys, I'm sweating from doing this. It's hot in here. I'm like, this is so much work. I did not realize that this, you know, a 12-inch circle doesn't sound that big. It's big. Yeah, cardio cooking, right? I'm like, I don't need to be one of those people that has like a redeem for, oh, make me do squats. No, make me make a pie crust. Okay, getting there. Yeah, it's still a little thick, so I know we've got a ways to go. Oh, we're almost there. No, we're not. I'm lying. We're not even close. Yeah. We're getting there. You know what? So I usually have an oval when I want a rectangle, or, well, an oval when I'm trying to do a circle, or rectangles. And when I'm trying to do a rectangle, I end up with circles. It's like almost impossible for me to get the shape I want when I want it. So the fact that this is moderately round is kind of amazing. Okay. Which is why I'm loath to push too hard in one direction or another, because I'm like, that could all go terribly wrong very quickly. Ooh. Yeah, all the fun sounds of the effort here. Okay, that is pretty close. A little bit further on this side, more this way, a little bit up, a little over, and there we go. I think we kind of, okay, so 12 inches is there. Just get a bit more of a press down. There we go. Okay. Oh, a little bit more. Yeah, which is great when you're doing things like puff pastry. You want squares. Everything else you want circles, and it's just not going to happen for me most of the time. So let's pray that this turns out big enough, because once I get it into the plate, hopefully. I think all grandmothers are probably rolling in their graves at this. No, we're still not. Okay. Oh, see, and this is why I have a hard time judging. Because it's like, you think you're there, and you're not. And then all of a sudden, it's gigantic. Okay, I think we're pretty close. See, now we're starting to get the squared off edges. I'm kind of impressed that it took this long. Okay. Let's see here. So my edge is there, edge is there, edge is there. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a circle. And it's big enough to put in my plate. So I'm using a deep dish plate. Like I said, I enjoy that. It holds the filling better. I'm just gonna pull that back. Not too bad. Yeah, I need to get this into the freezer ASAP, because that is getting melty. Okay, so all I'm gonna do, I'm gonna flour my hands. And then I'm going to flip this into my plate. Fingers crossed. Just like that. Because you can roll it up on your rolling pin, but I've never had success with that method. And if I were doing a tart with a removable bottom, I would just slide the removable bottom under it. Okay. Now comes the fun part. Trying to get this off the parchment without ripping the pastry. Go. A bit of a and the good thing about this is it doesn't actually need to be blind baked, so but I just took a look at the clock and I'm like, we are going to be pushing it for time. So there we go. It's a nice smooth pastry. I'm very happy with that. So much crinkling, sorry. Sorry. I'm trying to talk over it so my microphone won't pick it up, but yeah, we are almost done here. I just don't want to tear a giant hole in the middle of it. It's patchable, but I prefer not to have a leaky pie, so success! Excellent, okay. Let's get flour going here. I'm just gonna slide it in place here. You can see the butter is starting to melt, so I really need to move. If we want a pie that is not going to be a puddle. And you just want to gently press it into place, but firmly, of course. And I'm smart and cut my fingernails so that I'm not stabbing holes into my pie. Okay. I am happy with that. Let's just make sure it's all pressed in really nice and tight in the sides. I always call them corners, and I'm like, it's really not a corner, because a corner is like a 45-degree angle. So, into the sides of the dish. Just want to make sure that's in there. And we are just going to set it out there. Just want a little bit more on the sides, and we want to make sure that it's evenly all the way around, so it cooks evenly. This part, I got an air bubble stuck under there, so it's just, yeah, there we go. Okay. And now we are going to fill that with our apples. And stuff them in at will. You don't have to make them look pretty. I just want to make sure I get as many in there as I possibly can. I know you like to pick on me. That's okay, Underground. I'm sure I'll have other taste testers who'd be more than happy to take your place. And you can pile this fairly high. Because like I said, we're going to do a lattice. Or we're going to try and do a lattice. I guess we'll see how that works out. And just stuff all these apples in as best you can. Obviously, I cut more than I needed. And you definitely don't want to put any of the juice from the bottom of the bowl in there. Oh, good pile. Yeah, exactly, Dad. I'm like, I'll have the last laugh. I will. Okay. Almost there. What are we doing? 58. That's kind of close. Pretty close. Actually, I'm going to call it right now. I'm going to call it and say that's not happening. But you know what? If we end up with pie, that's the more important part. I think the challenge was just trying to deal with the heat today. Okay, you know what? That's pretty full. Get a couple more over here. Sorry, I still have that piece of apple stuck in my throat. And it's like sitting right on my tonsil. And it's just like so irritating. Okay. How do we look? You know what? That looks pretty glorious. Hi, Dad. Good a lot. Good to see you. Hope you're having a good Sunday. You just made it in time for apple pie construction. So, like I said, because I want to let this have as best a chance as possible, I'm actually going to put it back in the freezer so the butter can firm up while we work on the lattices. So, that goes in. And let's make sure it's... There we go. Make sure it's the fly out. Even. Okay, so now we are going to get on to rolling this out and cutting lattices. So I've got another medieval torture tool. It's a good one. It's the... You can use it for pastry, you can use it for pasta. I just think it's so much fun. So, we got this guy. And I'm going to grab some more parchment because that seemed to work pretty well for rolling the first time. That guy's nice and firm. We don't need to be quite as concerned with this one since we're just cutting strips of it. Oh, awesome! Well, then I will try to make this the most descriptive possible so that you can be entertained. Okay, so I have this. I'm pleased with how that turned out. And now, oh my goodness. Sorry. The easiest way to get your parchment to do what you want is just give it a bit of a crinkle. And then it sits flat enough. Sits nicely. Okay, so let's get this going here. Yes, underground. Yes, please don't slip. And now we're going to need 12 pieces of lattice, so definitely need to get it about the same size as the other one was. Because the strips need to go all the way across, obviously, so it's going to need to be the same diameter. Yeah, this one's benefiting from having spent a little more time in the freezer, for sure. It was super soft. I think my Fitbit is actually going to count this as a workout today, which is good. Okay. I can see it's sort of cracking on the edge here, so I'm just gonna do a little bit of repair work. Just wanna push it all back together. Okay. Just have to keep an eye on that. It is, it really is. Like, I am literally, my arms are like, because I have really terrible upper body strength, so it's like, I've got my foot back, and I'm actually like bracing myself to get a little bit further down into it. It's a good thing I have shoes on. Get that rubber sole planted. "52 minutes, yeah." I'm thinking that the challenge portion. Let's try and learn how to speak here. I think the challenge portion is actually going to end up being the caramel today. We shall see. Okay. Oops. I dig my knuckle into it. That's a little too aggressive. I almost wish I had a sheeter. You know, one of those big machines that's like rollers that they have in bakeries that they use when they're laminating things. That would be really handy right now. It's funny, someone on the Discord was like, "You're not putting cheese in your pie." No, it's going to be a sauce. I decided that I would attempt caramel again, but well, yeah, exactly. But no, I made a pouring custard, because that's the very British aspect of this. And then I'm going to try making a caramel again, but as we all know, I haven't exactly had the best. So it's going to be a drizzle on the top. Yeah, if the pie required the caramel on the inside, I think we might be playing with fire on that one. So rather than have it as an essential part, you know, like that other tart I made that day, we're going to have it as an accoutrement. And that way, and I also hedged my bets and made something else, so at least we've got something to go with it. Assuming we actually get this into the oven. We're getting there. Okay, literally, guys. Sorry. I'm like, it is hot in here. The glamorous side of cooking in my kitchen. 8,000 degrees. Okay. Try to get this. Let's see. Now I've sort of got a pointy part. That's okay. I'm not really concerned about the shape so much as I am about the diameter. I just need to make sure that my strips are going to be long enough to go across the pie. And if that doesn't work, we're going to be cutting out shapes and throwing them on top. Forget the crust on top. I'll just decorate. Decorate. Okay. Let's see where we are here. Oh yeah, nowhere near. Yeah, like the circle is here. My crust is not, so back we go. We are getting a circle, so that's good. Well, I suppose I could have just rolled as a rectangle. This is one time it would have been fine rolling as a rectangle, I suppose, so. This. I don't want it to get too warm. And you know what, kids? I've tried, and unfortunately, the one I tried it with, the dough was too soft because it was too warm, so it didn't turn out quite so nicely. But I've seen all sorts of really cool decorative things that I keep wanting to make just practice pie crust for. Because it'd be really cool to have some different, like I've seen some really beautiful ones where there's like a thick braid and then a thinner braid, and yeah, like they're awesome. Okay, yeah. No. And I keep thinking, I'm like, oh, we gotta be there. Gotta be there. Gotta be close. Nope. Not even. But I think if we get fairly close, we can always hold a little. Yeah. And that's the thing, is if you don't have the exact right consistency of your dough, and if it's, you know, if it's too hot. And yeah, like it just ended up being, it looked like a blob, basically, is what it turned out as. So yeah, not my best experiment, but like I said, I will eventually get around to making some test dough just for things like that, because they are pretty cool. But I find I don't make a lot of pies, so, as I'm sure is evidenced right now, that this is not my standard bake, but I'm a cake girl most of the time, or ridiculously difficult entremets and things like that, because, you know, if you're gonna put in the effort, you might as well make it worth it. But yeah, pies are not my thing, and I think it's probably because the pastry. Like, I've always been sort of, I'm doing better with pastry now than I was, but for the longest time, I think I just had failure after failure after failure, so yeah. You know what's a failure? It's my ability to judge whether this is ready or not. So that is way short on this side. So I also need to be able to cut out about 12 strips from this, so we shall see. I'm sure that parchment sound is lovely too. Just need to check something in the freezer here. I'm just checking on the pie itself. Yeah, that's firming up. Okay, good. I'm like, I'm really hoping it's going to firm up so that it has, you know, at least a half chance at life when it comes out. Because with my house, you can never be too sure. Okay. Yeah, you can tell it's getting warmer because it's starting to roll much easier, so need to speed things up here, Bonsai. At this rate, it'll be ready for 4th of July. Yeah. I think that's pretty close. Okay. Now, let's give it a heat here. It's not quite, it's a little small. Should probably give it a couple more rolls. Because if I don't, you know, I'll go to cut the lattices and they won't fit properly, so that would just be the icing on the cake. No, that would be what the... What would you call that in a pie reference? You don't ice pies. It's not a cherry on top. Oh. Thanks, Underground. Time for the band hammer. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's fairly close. Just gonna go like that. These long ones will end up going in the middle anyways. Pull this on. Ooh, yeah, that's getting a little too warm. Okay, so we need 1-inch strips. You can do it with a knife. You've got a toy, why not, right? Okay. Out. Yeah, that should do. Okay. And I'm like terrified to do this. Okay, there we go. That's fairly straight. Yeah, we'll go with that. Okay. Yeah, the butter's starting to smoosh out of the bottom one there, so we need to get this show on the road. Okay, so I'm going to grab... I'm going to move these out of the way because we don't need them anymore. I'm going to grab the pie. And one thing we do need to do is we actually need to put some butter dotted on top of the pie. So cut that now. We need about... Thanks, Underground! It wasn't working? I know, I love it. It's so much fun. I just want to cut all of the things. And we just need a tablespoon of butter. And you're just going to dot it around the pie. So yeah, that's probably more than a tablespoon, but who said, you know, there's such a thing as too much butter? Yeah. Good. Ah, heck. Use it all. Why not? There's already butter in the pastry. And there's apples, so that's health food, right? I had to click 3 times. Wow. That's, but Twitch has been kind of weird lately, so I'm kind of not surprised by that. Okay, so I'm gonna need this for the caramel later. Just gonna move it back over here. And now I will grab the pie. And hope that those are long enough to go across. Got butter fingers. So move so side. Oops. So start laying these pieces. Oh, this should be fine. Oh yeah, this is. Okay, so yeah, this is like scuff pie. We're gonna go with scuff pie today. Little concerned. Oh, because I'm ripping it. Perfect. Yeah, this could be not happening. Okay, so that's good enough to go across the top there. Excellent. Okay, they are long enough. That's good. Yeah, I didn't push down hard enough, so there's just man down. I'm taking a risk today just because I'm trying to get this done fairly quickly. But I'm looking at how warm this is, and yeah, I'm worried that this is not going to be as successful as I would hope. But you know what? Fingers crossed. It's going to taste good. It just might not be the prettiest. And it's definitely not going to be done in 39 minutes, that's for sure. I might as well just turn that thing off, because we are not hitting the timer today. So yeah, I'm gonna switch it up, and we are going to go with the challenge today is going to be, can caramel actually get made? Tune in at 11. Keep building here. Oh yeah, this is so stuck. So stuck. Alright, so yeah. This is definitely not going to be one I'm going to be writing home about, that's for sure. These pieces here. Now the butter's in the way, of course. Shorter pieces near the end. That guy's just gone. Okay. Not even sure I'll be able to hold that. Oh, let's get one more on there. Oops. Yeah. No, this is like super soft, so I don't think this is going to be as easy as I hoped it would be. So now we're going to turn it. Suppose I could put one more on the edge, lower slightly. Oops, I'll lose the butter on that one. Okay. Forget you. Get in there. Okay. So get one more in. The fun part is going to be trying to connect them. I think that is going to be the next challenge. Okay, maybe there was a reason there wasn't as much butter as I put it. Okay. You know what? You were right. That's too much butter. Scotch Bear, good to see you. Hope you're having a good day so far. Happy Sunday. Hope you had a good long weekend. Oh, man down. Yeah, we are tearing into it here. Try lifting. I think I should have peeled it up from the parchment first. There we go. Okay. So we have our first parts there. 1, 2, 4. Yeah, we should be good here. All right, let's get the other part going. Let's slide my knife to release it. Seems to be working a little better. Okay. Well, at least I rolled it out far enough that danced out events. Lots of stuff going on. I see. Like, I constantly see all sorts of new stuff being posted, so that's kind of exciting. All right, so lattice. Oops. Okay, that butter just doesn't want to stay there. And lattice. That's a little too far. And this over. Perfect. Just gonna slide just a touch. Little closer in. Yeah, this is some seriously scuffed lattice, but you know what? It's gonna taste good. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and the piece of pie crust that did not want to stay. Perfect. Okay. And now we just repeat this process. And when you have pastry that looks better than this, it's actually a lot easier. It's also going to be completely different. Oh, wow! That's cool. Was it at a club or was it in a big event space? I know there's been a few different things going on up here, but it's been mostly clubs. Yeah, the first lattice is always a pain in the ass because you want to try and get it up and over, but not too far. Go back to square one. Yeah, and I always worried I fold the wrong ones up and then have to redo it. Oh, nice. That's cool. I think I'd be more open to going to events if they were more club type thing, just because I'm not quite ready for giant groups of people at this time. Okay. Okay, this isn't looking as terrible as I was expecting it to, so I'm kind of impressed. We're gonna have And once it's golden brown and delicious, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's all fine, right? Another new disaster. That guy is coming pretty close to being falling right off the end there. But we trimmed the edges anyway, so it's not that big a deal. I'm not quite sure how I ended up with like these super tiny ones and then these really thick ones. I'm like, they were set to the same setting. Okay. I feel like I'm just... There we go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes it's a good thing. Definitely just need to sort of get the heart rate back to normal, although I'm sure your feet are probably like, I hate you. And why are you doing this to me? I know I've experienced that more than once myself. Okay, last one. Can we get this off the paper? Yeah, this is just gonna be... Let's go, let's go, let's go. Alright, 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 alright. Yeah, this one is... Should be at the end here. Perfect. Okay, you know what? That doesn't look as terrible as I thought it was going to, so... Well done. Well done us. Yeah, your feet totally... Yeah, exactly. Oh, okay. Oh, was it an all-night kind of thing? Like after hours? Now I'm just going to cut the excess. I'm going to just join it together. I'm not even going to cut it. I'm just going to tear it because it doesn't really want to cut. Okay. Then we just need to join these. Pretty little crimp happening. Oops. Yeah, this dough is so sticky. Gotta get into the oven like yesterday. So hopefully, if you look at that lovely crust, I'm just gonna get an egg wash on it too. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this. Oh, at least the under crust has gotten a little softer, so we can join the two nicely. Bit of a smoosh. Yes, there will be an egg wash. There will definitely be an egg wash. We gotta put as much lipstick on this pig as we possibly can. Because it's looking pretty rough. But you know what? It's okay. It's a pie. And it's also really hot, so yeah. Not thinking we're going to have the prettiest pie, but at this point I just want it to come out of the oven and be delicious and not have a soggy bottom. That's my number one concern, is I don't want a soggy bottom, because there's nothing worse than a soggy bottom. Okay. You know what, guys? I'm pretty happy with that, actually, considering I'm not firing on all cylinders with the heat here. Alright, let's get that out of the way. And we are going to do an egg wash, and it's actually egg with a little bit of milk in it. Let's get that. Just a splash of milk. Oh. I almost poured it into the pie. Yeah, exactly. Ah, yeah, exactly. As long as it's made with love and it's tasty, that's all that matters. And hey, you know what? Like the smell coming off those apples, that chai spice is pretty spectacular. So I'm just gonna give it a little bit of a egg wash here. Whoops. Come on. And we are going to need a pastry brush. We are going to make this look nice and pretty. That way it'll get a nice golden color when it bakes too. Now luckily, because it's not a closed top, you don't need to poke holes in it. If you'd put it in a full top, you would need to poke steam vents in it so that your pie doesn't explode. And I think the reason the milk is in there is just the sugars in the milk help with that real pretty browning happening. So, okay. I've gotten all of the edges here. And we are ready for the oven. I am going to grab a tray to put it on, because you never want to bake anything like a pie without putting it on a tray, because you're just begging for it to explode over, boil over. You know what? I think I'm going to go for a bigger tray, actually, because I have a feeling that that one's just not quite wide enough. So, let me grab a bigger one here. That way it'll catch anything. Because there's nothing worse than having to clean your oven after something has exploded all over it. And we're headed to the stove. And we are going to slide this baby in. Oh! Hi Elise, hi Sadie! And this is going to go in at 400 for 20 minutes, and then we're going to turn the heat down and cook it for another 35. Where's my timer? Timer's over here. So, 20 minutes at 400. Let me double check to make sure that is correct. Yeah. 20 minutes and then 30 to 35 at 375. So, do 20 minutes there. Perfect. Alright, I'm going to do a bit of a clear down. Let's get some stuff out of the way. And because now that we've done that, there is really no avoiding it. It's time for the show time. Yeah. 35 minutes in the oven, 27 on the clock. Yeah, pretty much. Apple explosion. Oh, yes, definitely don't want apple explosions. Because I don't like cleaning my oven as it is, and I really don't like having to scrape things off the bottom of it, so I'm going to avoid all explosions where possible. Okay. Because, yeah, it is now time for the last bit of fun for today, and that is caramel. Now, I know that I've had no success with it so far, so heck, why not do it again, right? Guess we'll see. So, plus I want to make a chai spice caramel for this. So the first thing I'm actually going to do before I make the caramel is I'm going to make the spice blend that is going to go in it, because once you start caramel, you really can't turn away from it. So let's do that. I'm just gonna rinse some of the butter off my hands here. I feel like I will have the most moisturized hands on the planet by the end of today with all of the butter I've been handling. That, and to make the chai spice, I'm using the same blend that I used in with the apples, which is my cinnamon, ginger, allspice, nutmeg, and cardamom, and a little bit of black pepper. So bring these guys over again, and I'm gonna just eyeball it with the pepper. You don't want a lot, but you do want that little bit of a bite. And then I'm gonna, let's see here. I'm actually gonna go with the same amounts that no, I don't need that much spice, but I'm gonna go with a teaspoon of cinnamon. Where's the teaspoon on this thing? There's one here that's like a half a tablespoon. It always confuses me and I end up grabbing it by accident. Okay, so I'm gonna go with the teaspoons. These things not come off this thing. This ring is really great for, oh, they do. Okay, there we go. Haha, that's easier. Okay, so I'm gonna go with a teaspoon of ginger, a teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of nutmeg, half a teaspoon of allspice, and a quarter teaspoon of the cardamom. And that's my standard ratios for any time I'm using these. So is 1 cinnamon, 1 ginger, half of the allspice and nutmeg, and a quarter of the cardamom. So teaspoon here. And again, this is, if you weren't here at the beginning when I did the apples, this is the Indonesian true cinnamon. Delicious. It's like, this is what cinnamon, when you think of cinnamon, this is cinnamon. Because there's other kinds that are more suitable for savory applications, like the Sri Lankan one is really great in curries and things like that. But this is the true cinnamon that you think of when you get cinnamon at the grocery store. And I'm gonna half it with the allspice and half it with the nutmeg. Quarter of the cardamom, and you can add more or less if you want. You don't have to add any spices to this recipe, but this is just a standard caramel, so I just like to spice it up, and since we're having the spicy pie, I'll go with the spicy caramel with it. Oh, let's leave it quartered. Yeah, that'd be good. Stir around. Okay, yeah, this is me totally procrastinating on making the caramel. I'm fully aware of that. Okay. Get these spices out of the way. Bring the burner back and the pot. And actually, I'm going to get the other things ready for it too, because once you've got the sugar melting, you kind of want everything else ready at the same time so you can add it. So let's do this. Oh my god, my hands are literally shaking. Like, caramel has done me so wrong that I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. Okay, okay. It's on. We're doing this. We're doing this. Oh, I'm bringing back the burner. Hopefully we'll not be knocking the camera over. Good view of that. And plug it in. Oh yay, didn't knock over the camera. So good. So happy with that. Move the wire though. Precariously perched in front of the other one. Good. We good. Okay. Caramel helm. Oh. I know you have your clip finger ready. It's the Caramel Fun Show. Yes! It's gonna be caramel fun. It's gonna be caramel fun. I'm gonna get the other things ready so that when we're ready to add them, they are on standby. So I need a half cup of heavy cream. I can put it in this one because that's a half cup. I don't need the full one. And you definitely want your ingredients, your butter and your cream at room temperature, because that will definitely lessen the potential for it to seize. And also it will help it combine better. And I also need 90 grams of butter. And this is also at room temperature, which is very, very sticky right now. I'm just gonna grab the scale. I feel like I'm just playing Jenga with all of these things right now. Bowl. Put it in. And you want this in cubes, if possible. Maybe more like smushes. Actually, this isn't bad. I thought it was warmer than it was gonna be, so. Because that way it'll disperse better. You don't want one big chunk of butter going in. That makes it really likely for it to seize. Now, the beauty of caramel like this is even if it does seem like it's separated, like the butter hasn't gone into the sugar at all, you can actually just take it off the heat and keep whisking it until it comes together. It will eventually come together. It just might take 5-10 minutes. And there's no timetable for it to come back together. It could come back together right away. It could take, 10 minutes, which has happened to me before. I will not lie. I've had a few experiences with it, 75, where it didn't come together for a good 10 minutes after I started stirring it. So don't give up on it. It will eventually happen. It's kind of like when you're making a buttercream, a meringue buttercream. It may look curdled or it may look soupy. Just keep working with it and, you know, either heat it up or take it down. You're gonna cool it down. You're eventually gonna get there. It will come together. You just have to be patient. Okay. So those are good to go. The butter is separated. Butter is not separated. Butter is measured out and is no longer needed, so it's starting to get a little warm. I'm just gonna put it back in the fridge. You know what? I'm gonna leave it out because if I need to try this again, I don't want cold butter. So you know what? We're gonna leave it out because I'm thinking maybe if I act like I'm gonna have to make a second one, I won't have to make a second one. Okay, and I still need a pot. Get some sugar going here, and it's just a cup of sugar, which is 200 grams. So, 0 that. I've got this weird spot on my counter where it's like, yeah. I figured, you know what? If I prepare for the worst, maybe the best will happen. So, fingers crossed. So, we are going to just go this over this way. Measure out my sugar. Go. There. Okay. Perfect. 202. Close enough. All right. I'm just gonna grab a wooden spoon because once we start this, we can't really leave it. So just grab a little more used than others because I have some wooden spoons that are still pretty brand new and they're a little sharp around the edges, and I really don't want to scratch the bottom of my pot. So here we go, people. Here we go. We're doing it. We are doing it. I'm just gonna turn it down to 3. I'm gonna do this on half, and you know what? I'm turning this timer off because we're clearly not making that. So bye-bye timer. It was nice knowing you. I think I've decided that timers and I are not friends for pies, so. And now we just need to sort of let this melt. Just keep stirring it. I'm gonna turn it like. Okay, stirring constantly. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Okay. I can already see it starting to get a little sandy textured, so that moisture's coming out. And I'm actually gonna grab a whisk really quick because I totally forgot about that. I'm gonna need one, so. Okay. Like, just sort of like, oh yeah, you can see it's really starting to get that sandy consistency, so we're getting there. We are getting there. Okay with that. Oh dear. I'm barely breathing. I'm talking and saying like words, but not really talking because I'm like, I just need to remind myself to breathe right now. Like it's the panic. It's just hilarious to me because pretty much anything is fine, but after having no luck with caramel lately, I'm just like, Just curious how that pie is going. I just realized that like I've got like 6 minutes left before I have to go turn my oven down and put my pie guard on. So I'm thinking maybe this was not the wisest thing to start right now. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's all fine. Okay. And you do want to keep moving it around because you're going to have spots that might melt in pockets. And then that could end up ruining everything. And I'm wondering if maybe that wasn't a problem I had last time, which is I just wasn't stirring as much as I should have been. But I guess we'll find out. And this is new sugar, so I got rid of that sugar that was giving me all of the trouble the last time, so should be fine. Should be fine. Okay. Little hydration there. Okay. Oh yeah, I can feel it sort of starting to... Oh yeah, you can see it melting there. There we go. Okay, so you want to really keep stirring it. Keep stirring it and keep stirring it. And like I said, I've got this pretty low because I really don't want it to burn. Okay, people, here we go. We are in the melting. We are in the melting. I am stirring. I am stirring. Feel it going pretty well. Gotta wait for it to all melt down. And turn that really not black color would be really awesome today. I don't want to, you know. It's all fine. It's all fine. I'd really like to not have to use more than one pot today. That would be amazing. I'm getting a little nervous. I'm actually going to turn it down one because I just... You know what? Better safe than sorry. Let's see if we can get this working without it causing an incident. Where are we going? I'm like, I am not letting any of this stick to the bottom if I can help it. Like, I am now no longer caring if my pan gets scratched. I'm like, I just don't want this stuck. A long weekend miracle, right? I'm not asking for too much, just, you know, not a pot full of blackened, you know, mess. Although, to be fair, it didn't actually take that long to clean up the 14 pots of failed caramel the last time, because the water that comes out of my sink is so hot, I just ended up using, letting it run and eventually dissolving. Although, if you can't do that, you can always just fill your pot with water and then let it come to a boil on the stove. It'll do the same thing. It's pretty sad that you can do that just out of my sink. Okay, this is... Yeah, I turned it down a bit, and now it's slowed down, so I'm like a little nervous, because I don't want to turn it back up. I'm like, I also have 3 minutes before I have to, okay, I am going to turn it back up. Like, making decisions on the fly here, we'll see if this comes back to bite me in the ass. I'm thinking, I need to turn my temperature down on my oven and put my pie guard on in a minute here, so yeah, pretty much have to adjust it back and forth. Okay, we're getting there. It's starting to turn a nice melty in the bottom. I'm like, and if I have to go and deal with that pie, I might actually take this off the heat for a second, so that we don't end up, because I'm not going to leave it on the heat. Are you kidding me? I'm like, I've had too many problems with caramel. I am not leaving this sucker on the heat unattended. That's just asking for a fire. In my, because I guarantee that's exactly what would happen. It would just blow up, explode. Okay. So I was thinking about it after the last time. One of the caramels, it almost looked like those Dalgona candies that have been really popular, those Korean Dalgona candies. I'm like, oh, too bad I didn't actually remember what I did, and I didn't do it on purpose, because You know, those are pretty popular right now. But it was literally like that sort of, it was a weird sort of half, like it was like a half caramel, like a chewy caramel and like half hard caramel. Okay. You know what? Now, of course, now this is happening. Now it's gonna melt. So. Okay. Luckily, my kitchen is not so big that if I go and turn down the oven, it won't be too far a run. I need like a little stick that I can poke at my dial. Okay, we're getting there. Well, we're still in the golden range. That's always a bonus. Kind of excited about that. Okay. Now, starting to get to the where it's... Oh, look, look, look. Okay, we're melting, we're melting, we're melting. And got like 30 seconds before I have to go change the temperature on the oven. Of course, of course. Planned this perfectly. Okay. Just gonna turn that heat down just a smidge. Hopefully that will give me the ability to like slide over to the stove, turn the heat down and come back without it all of a sudden going black. Okay, this is... Okay, I'll be right back. You behave. Just turning my heat down to 375. I'm just gonna double check. Yeah, she's looking pretty. Doesn't need the thing yet. Okay, sorry. Like I did take a quick peek and it's actually looking pretty nice. It's not browning too quickly, so I'm gonna put that on for another 30 minutes. Okay. Don't stop stirring, Beyonce. Like I'm playing with fire at that. Okay. Still a good color. Oh noes. No, we're still good. We're still good. This is a positive sign, Underground. This is what we want. This is getting there. Sort of playing with the heat up and down because I don't want it to melt too quickly and burn, and I don't want it to take forever. So, turn it back up. Okay, I'm gonna give it a second just to liquidize a bit here. Okay. As you can see, it's happening like super fast. There we go. Once it starts to go, it all sort of starts to go. And just don't want that what happened the last time, which is by the time it melted down, it was blackened. Be slightly more. Oh yeah, check that out. Okay, just leave it for a second. 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 Okay, I'm playing with fire here. I know I am. Just gonna let a little bit of it melt. But there we go. Okay. 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 Like literally, I'm just like, please. I am like saying every prayer that I know, which is pretty much one, and that's the one they teach you in school when you're a kid. Well, they used to. I don't know if they still do, but and in Girl Guides, we had to do it too. So that's that standard, the standard one that everybody knows. I'm just praying to the sugar gods and anybody else who wants to come in and lend a hand. I'd be super pleased with that. Okay, I'm actually doing not too bad here. We're still at a light amber, which is good because you don't want it to get too dark. But if it starts getting too dark, you know what, I'm gonna sieve this anyways, so if we've still got some unmelted sugar, I'm gonna cut my losses and just start whisking things in, because I would rather have the ability to strain things out later than have to start a whole new pot. Okay, that, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, okay. So now it is time to put in the butter. Now this might be splashy, so I apologize. I just grab some in. Oh, I need to rest my spoon on something because that is hot sugar and I do not want to. Don't want to burn it, and get my whisk, and we are going in with the butter. And now we just whisk, 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 whisk. And hopefully this all comes together nicely. And hopefully I don't get a 3rd-degree burn from the steam. Okay, and obviously this is going to need to come off the heat because that is not combining too well. So I'm going to take it off the heat and whisk it till it starts to come together. I had a feeling that would happen, but the fact that I don't have burnt caramel is kind of amazing. So you have to be really careful with this because that butter is going to splash and it's going to be frickin' hot. So you can wear gloves if you want. I'm just going to sever a bit so I can move this over. You can wear gloves for it, like an oven mitt or whatever. I'm not too worried about the splashes. And just keep whisking until it all comes together. It will come together, I swear. I swear, we're getting there. Yeah, whiskey business. It's funny because I actually hadn't had that emote in there, and then I'm like, I know there's going to be some whisking today, so I think I'll put it back. So, how appropriate. Okay. We were getting there. It's just going to take a minute or two. Like I said, just keep doing it. It will eventually all combine. You just have to... But you definitely want to do this off the heat. You don't want to do this on the heat. Okay, so there we go. And once that is combined, we're going to put it back on the heat. And we're just going to let it sit and just cook for a minute. And then we're going to add the cream. Should be good. Yeah, it's coming together nicely there. We just have to be patient. A pain in the ass, but there we go. Okay. Perfect. And now we put that back on the heat, and I don't know if that looks 100% right, but oh, I know. There we go. Okay, we're just gonna let that sit. I have a feeling that has seized, but we will see. We'll see. We're just gonna let that sit for a minute. It's gonna heat up and it'll melt up again. Hopefully it won't separate. Yeah. I'm gonna let that sit for a minute. It's gonna bubble, melt, and hopefully not separate again. And it's hard for me to not touch it right now because I literally am like, I just wanna fix it. I just wanna stirring it. So don't touch it. Don't touch it. Okay. Bubbling. It's not really saucy. I have a feeling this might not work. After all of that is going to be the frickin' butter that didn't work and not the sugar itself. Damn you, caramel. Okay. So, oh yeah, that's completely seized. That's, fuck. Are you joking me? Okay, I'm going to take this off and try and get it back to some semblance of togetherness. And yeah, that is, oh, it's a little better now. That butter is just really being a pain in the ass today. It does not want to combine. This should be fun because now I have to add the cream, and I'm afraid that if I add the cream now, we're just going to have like a giant seized pile. Yeah, it's pretty much a write-off. I'm like, do I waste the cream and try? Or do I just give up and try another batch of caramel? That is the question. Yeah, this is not, it's not good. The butter is just not happening. Yeah, so caramel hell, officially. Officially. Yeah, more dishes, right? I think it's gonna be should I try another pot, or should we just say screw the caramel? I'm like, you know what? I'm not confident with this, so I think I'm going to not waste the cream and maybe just try another batch of caramel. Because heck, why not? Yeah, this butter is just not going to reabsorb. Like, look at this. It's like peanut butter consistency, and it's oily, and yeah, I don't know what happened, but once again, well, yeah, like I'm just making it worse at this point. Oh no! I'm so sorry to hear that, Funk Shop. Your internet is probably this. That's what it is. It's ruined caramel. Alright, you know what, guys? I'm going to... I don't know why I keep stirring it in the hopes of it getting back in one piece. Yeah, you know what? That's... That is a disaster. Holy shit. Yeah. Peanut butter in a pot? What? Peanut butter in a pot? Yeah, pretty much. Alright, another disaster. Yep. Okay. Do I do another pot? You know what I'm going to do while I'm trying to decide if I'm going to do another pot or if I'm going to be happy with just the caramel and wiping some of this splashed butter all off the burner is I'm going to go actually check that pie and see how we're doing. One more? Okay. You know what? I've got one more pot, so I think I'm going to give it one more try. And let's take a look at this baby here. Oh, she smells delicious. And is looking pretty pretty. Okay, I'm actually just going to put a pie guard on it so that the crust doesn't burn at the edges. I have a... You can do this with foil. I have this fancy little silicone one. So, there we go. Try not to touch the pie dish with your hand, if at all possible. There we go. Exactly. I did leave the butter out so I could try it one more time, so you know what? Let's go for it. I'm just gonna put this back in. It's looking pretty solid there. I'm kind of happy about that. And, alright, I need to grab the other pot. It's just around the corner, so I will be right back. Well, you guys are coming with me because I'm not turning my mic off, but yeah, no. Just have to remember where I put it. So, okay. Yes, I've got a pile of pots in the corner just in case. And let's try this again. Now, I'm actually wondering if maybe I should do this stove. Maybe I should do this on the stove in a different pot. Because I'm wondering if it's maybe because these aren't like super heavy bottoms. Maybe I just, oh, now I've got stuff on. So, you know what? I'm actually gonna not use the burner for this one. I'm gonna head to the stove and go, oh god, look at this. Look at this disaster. That's just awful. Okay, I'm gonna go to the stove to do this because I think maybe a heavier bottom pot, you know, after I went to all the trouble of grabbing this one, maybe a heavier bottom pot might work better. So, fingers crossed. Just gonna... I've got sugar stuck to the counter that I'm trying desperately to get off there. Alright. So I'm gonna use this guy. here first. Let's see if this works. And this could be a complete and utter failure too, who knows? So, let's measure out, again, 200 grams of sugar. And I'm also going to get the butter ready for the second round so that it's good to go, should this actually turn out. I've never had a problem with caramel in this pot. Pot number bread. So we'll see. Like I don't think it's the pots, but you never know. Caramel, how? Okay. Nick, good to see you. Sugar's fat free. Exactly. Exactly. Good to see you. And everybody, if you are not in my Discord, you need to join the Discord so that you can see Nick's stuff that he's been smoking. Those cheesecakes looked ridiculous. Oh my god, they look so good. So good. Actually, and those pizzas too. Like, yum. Alright. Sugar is measured out. I'm gonna get the butter done here. I'm just gonna unplug the burner. I don't need it anymore. There we go. Try not to knock the camera over for a third time. I think twice in one stream is, you know, all I need. That out of the way. Get it off completely so that I don't end up burning myself on it. Yeah, no. Nick, it looks so good. So good. Because one was with an Oreo crust and one was with a Graham. Yes? But it had that nice little tinge from the smoke. Oh, so good. Alright, so let's try this again. We need 90 grams of butter. I'm like, I think I have exactly enough butter for this, and that's it. And then, you know, if this one doesn't work out, yeah, we're pretty much... I think, actually, I probably do have more butter in the fridge. Let's be realistic. Okay. So, let's switch it out here. Yeah, you've turned up just at the right time, Nick. We're gonna do batch number 2 of caramel and see if we can't get it to work this time. We don't seem to have much luck on this channel with caramel. Sugar has not been my friend. It likes everything. Exactly. That's the whole point. Is you gotta learn as you go. Trial and error is the best way to figure things out. Except with caramel. I'm just gonna put it out there. Trial and error is not something you want to be doing with caramel if you can avoid it. Ugh, this butter is so melty now. Like my kitchen is just starting to get a little on the warm side with that oven going. 61. Are you kidding me? Am I not going to have enough butter with this? Okay. Well, if I have one piece that's not quite room temperature, I need 10 grams more butter. And it begins. Now, well, at least I get to use it some of the other butter that I have kicking around in the fridge. So there's that. Let's see here. You know, I usually have like 5 or 6 bits and pieces kind of things happening. So I'll just use a little bit of that butter from earlier. Okay. Yeah, this is solid. Alright, I'm glad I didn't waste that cream. I do have another half a cup of cream if I needed to, but I'm glad I didn't. Oh, that's 90. Perfect. Okay. Alright, kids, what's cooking pies with caramel? Yeah, pies in the oven, and the pouring custard that I made to go along the side of it is cooling off to the side there. And now we are on attempt number 2 of caramel because number 1 ended up looking like this. Basically, disaster in a pot. Like, there is no coming back. So, we're trying it again. I'm going to take it to the stove this time rather than my burner, because I'm going to use a different pot. And we're going to see if we can't get the caramel to work over there. I'm getting the butter and the cream ready. Slide those, because you'll need those in close proximity. And these apples just keep moving around everywhere. The pot's clean and this bowl is not. So I don't want to do that. I'm just going to move that out of the way. And we are headed back to the stove. So let's get my burner going here. I'm going to do a medium heat. And let's grab another spoon. And fingers crossed, all the prayers. All the prayers right now. Oh, that? No. Or are you talking about the pie, Elizabeth? Or are you talking about the gloppy bowl of awful? Are you not home, Elizabeth? Or are you leasing Sadie over at your place? Okay, now this is the fun part where we just wait patiently. I know this is gonna be a little... Oh, thanks you guys! That's so sweet, I appreciate that. Not required, but certainly appreciated. I enjoy having you guys around. So thank you for that. Elizabeth, I appreciate that. They were pretty tasty. I was actually pretty happy with that. I can do most things well. Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, like I can do most things well. Just apparently I can't seem to get caramel right. Which, you know, I suppose if I have to pick one thing, I guess caramel would be the one thing I could leave behind. I'd rather be able to make a great cake and, you know, the world's best butter tarts, according to Elizabeth. And she's not that she's, you know, the least bit biased, but alrighty. Let's keep these moving. Okay. Yeah, this is just... The burner is slower because the heat isn't quite as even, and let's be realistic, I don't exactly have the greatest stove on the planet, so... Unfortunately, this is going to take a little longer, but maybe it'll be more successful. I should get a whisk out now while I'm thinking about it. I'm not scrambling for it later. Good. I think I'm gonna go this guy. Now that's a whisk. Oh, she's not allowed to have any. Kidding. Okay, starting to get that sandy texture again. It took much less time to get to that spot over there, but yeah, but we are getting that sandy, so it's starting to get that damp kind of feeling to it, and it feels heavier. Like I know it's the same amount of sugar, and that's kind of the same as when you use anything. Is that you need to be able to feel it to know exactly what it's like, but it actually, like, it feels heavier. It's harder to move. Haha, too late. Yeah. Well, I think Underground liked his. I don't know. I think I forgot to post the picture of that, but Underground had a tart with a nice scoop of the Nanaimo Bar ice cream on top, and then some candied bacon stuffed in the ice cream. I look at the picture after I took it, I'm like, that kind of looks like a moose, which I guess was perfectly appropriate for Canada Day. So, but yeah, no, they turned out well, and I know I mentioned it when I was making it, but that crumble that's the base of a regular Nanaimo bar, holy smokes, just make that. It's like crack. And if you keep it in the fridge, it gets, like, it doesn't get like super hard. Ah, yes, Nick. Absolutely. Everybody needs candy bacon. It was delicious. It was just maple syrup. And had I not been putting it on a sweet application, I probably would have added some cayenne to it, just because I think that sweet, salty, and spicy would have been awesome, but it wouldn't have gone particularly well with Nanaimo bar ice cream, so the butter tarts probably would have been interesting, and I'm looking forward to making another set of them, because after Tat suggested craisins, I'm kind of like, I'm dying to actually try the craisins. So I am like not leaving this pot. Usually, and it's funny because usually I'll just let it sit for a couple minutes and let it melt when I'm doing this by myself. But with my lack of success lately, I am not going anywhere. So funny. Look at the difference in the color of those butters. Hilarious. You can tell like that grass fed. I still don't know where. I'll have to Google where that butter comes from. Because I'm guessing down east. Guessing, like, I know that there's other butter that comes from PEI, so maybe it's from there. But okay, oh, I'm starting to feel the melting at the bottom. It's always weird. Sugar as it's starting to melt almost smells like it's burning sometimes. So of course I'm having I know that's totally normal, but I'm having a panic. It's like, come on. Okay. How are we doing this pie? I got about 5 minutes, but then I'll take a peek at it. I seem to be timing this completely terribly and also perfectly. It's like, I'm like, I have 5 minutes left before I have to check the pie, and of course that's going to be just enough for this to start melting and not, you know, wanting to take my hands off it, so. Okay. Yeah, oh yeah, you can feel it starting to stick to the bottom of the pot here. So, we're definitely at that sort of tipping point where it's going to start liquefying. Too much. It's funny how it just goes from totally solid. Yeah, true. that was actually probably a smart thing to do, is put myself in close proximity to the pie so that I can take a quick peek at it and not have to run away from the sugar. Because anything you're doing with sugar, you really shouldn't take your eyes off of. But with my luck lately, I'm definitely not taking my eyes off it. Convince this that it wants to cooperate this time. Oh yeah, it's starting to. Yeah, I can start to feel it now. Okay. Let's go. Do I let it sit for a second? Let it sit for a second? Let it sit for a second? As I've let it sit for 5 seconds. Which means, yes, I let it sit for a second. I love how I'm trying to decide to do something and I'm letting it happen. Oh, there we go. We've got liftoff. Perfect. Okay. I keep moving it around. With a dry caramel, you're always going to have bits around the side of the pot that don't dissolve. No big deal, that's totally normal. What's not totally normal is everything not working. So, let's hope. Let's hope. Fingers crossed. Like I said, I left that butter out just in case I needed to do it. I was hoping that that would be the, you know, kind of like you tell a kid not to do something and they immediately go ahead and do it. I was figuring that if I left the butter out, I wouldn't need it, but clearly that was not the case. So we're gonna say that it was a good idea to have a second attempt, but I'm thinking attempt number 2 is probably going to be the only one after that. I think we're going to make this work. This one's gonna work. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna work. It's gonna be beautiful, glossy caramel. I don't even care if I have to put more elbow grease into to get the butter to combine. This is gonna work. Yes. Yeah, Nick. I love that little hit of spice. I think it'd be delicious. But just, yeah, unfortunately with an all sweet dish was not quite the right thing to do for that one. But yeah, no, I plan on making more of it just for snacking purposes and trying a bunch of different seasonings just to see what else goes really well. Like I've got some really neat different ground chilies like guajillo and ancho and pasilla. So I think those would add really nice. Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Bite your tongue, Underground. Bite your tongue. That is not a necessity. I don't have enough pots for that. Honestly, I do not have enough pots. Okay. This is actually starting out fairly well. We're just gonna keep stirring, and I'm actually gonna let it sit for just a second to get a bit of a melt going on the bottom there. And yeah, although if you want to bring in a, 5 or 6 more pots and 20 kilograms of sugar, yeah, that I will try it. Yeah, letting it sit and liquefy is helping melt the stuff that isn't quite as close to being ready to go. Melting. Melt. Got about 40 seconds to check that pie too. Okay, this is going pretty well. I think I might be able to actually leave it for a second. Famous last words. She says, I should be able to leave it for a second and then all hell breaks loose. So, 20 seconds. And I'm going to check the pie now. And let's see. She's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. It still needs about another 10 minutes. Okay, I need 2 oven mitts. That would help. So we're going to slide her back in there. I'm just going to... Oops! My pie... Of course. My pie hat has fallen off. Shit. And that's heavy. That's hot. Not heavy. Hot. Okay. Can't leave the oven open. Let's do that. I'll replace that in a second. Fuck. I knew it would be too easy. Okay, so keep stirring. Right? It pretty much is. Like, for all intents and purposes, it's my Valhalla. Is that correct? That's the Vikings? Right? Like, my apron's going all sideways from stirring so much. Okay. We're getting there. Like I said with the first batch, if there's some that just refuses to stubbornly not melt, I'm not going to worry about it because I'd rather have the caramel the color I want than have it with, a few lumps that are going to kill anybody. And I'm going to strain it afterwards anyways, so. Looks like we're doing pretty well here. I'm reluctant to take it much further than that. So that's good because the sugar's actually melting well. Not too much of it is stuck to the side of the pot, which is even more impressive. It's all stuck to the spoon, that's why. Okay. Alright, so it is whiskey time. We are gonna get that out of the way, and we are going to whisk in the butter, and hopefully be successful. I'm doing it in little smaller pieces this time, maybe that'll help. I know it says to add it all at once, but I'm thinking maybe more slowly might work. Ah! I just splashed myself. Okay. So. There we go. Okay. Whiskey, whiskey, whiskey. Let's see how we're going here. And that is splashy. Take it off the heat. And try and get that combined. I'm starting to think, like, you know what? If I have trouble with this sugar again, I'm just gonna start buying a completely different brand, because I'm wondering if it's maybe not the brand. Like, I bought a new bag of it, but splattering all over the place here. Jeez. Yeah, this is messy. This is not the fun part. Okay. Well, this is looking a little more promising than the first one. Meanwhile, I'm gonna have to clean my entire kitchen. Seems to be not terrible. Okay. I'm just gonna let that sit for a minute. Seems to be in a better spot than it was with the first one. I'm just gonna not touch that, because that is hot sugar. I'm just gonna wipe the hot butter off my arm, because that was fun. Okay, that looks promising. That is something I'm used to seeing, so I'm kind of excited about that. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that we might actually have this. Be amazing. You just need to let it sit for a minute and not do anything to it. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, it's showtime. Now it's time to add the cream. So we're going to do this very slowly. Not from a height. This is going to bubble up. Steamy. Definitely want to whisk with a longer handle for this. I'm glad I chose that one. All right. Get that nice and combined. And now I'm going to let that boil for a minute. That'll give me enough time to go over and grab the spices that I measured out earlier. Stir. That's ready. Okay. Oh, for God's sake, my Google Assistant. I said, okay, people, and my Google Assistant opened. I hate Google Assistant. Okay. This. There we go. Caramel sauce! Oh yeah, baby! Oh my god. I am so freaking excited! Okay, so I am going to turn the heat off because I don't need that anymore. And I'm actually going to strain it. So just gonna put it through a sieve. So let's go do this over here, actually. After all After I went to go get the spices, I decided to move back over here. So we're gonna sieve that because there are probably going to be some pieces of undissolved sugar, and that is not the tastiest thing on the planet. So you want to work kind of quickly with this because it is gonna stick to the pan as it gets cooler. It's still molten hot, so please, if you're doing this, please be careful. And don't spill it all over your counter like I just did. That's just a waste of good caramel. Alright, so I'm wondering if it was the fact that those pots don't have as heavy a bottom as this one, because this is a super heavy duty pot. Like, it's got a really thick base, so I'm thinking that might have been what the problem was. Just put that out of the way. I really need to check on that pie, so I get this one. See, all of that was left in the pot. Finally! I don't know if it's the burner, Elizabeth. I think it's the pots, because those pots have pretty thin bottoms. Like, you can, like, they're IKEA pots. They're not the most, you know, heavy duty. So I'm wondering if maybe it conducts the heat. It gets in there so much more quickly that it might just overheat too fast. So, lesson learned. That is for another day. And I am going to stir, and you always want to stir your spices or your vanilla or whatever in after. You don't want to, you want to take it off the heat. So we're just gonna put those in. And I'm also gonna add some salt, because with anything super sugary, a little bit of salt is always a good idea. Stir this. I'm probably gonna have to strain this again now that I've added that, but I want to get the sugar out. I think that's probably gonna be enough. That's not a huge batch of caramel, so we're just going to. Oh my god, it smells so good though. Yeah, more dishes. More dishes. Okay, well it only took 2 pots this time, so there's that. I'm excited about that. Just gonna let that cool a bit. I'm gonna go check on that damn pie before I forget about it completely. I can smell it. It smells amazing, so that, and I'll sieve this again once I've done that. Okay, need to go check on that pie. You can there for now. Let's go to the stove. What did I do with my? Oh, there they are. Like, trying to find. You know what? Actually, I think that is pretty perfect. Give it a. You know what? That's actually cooked. Oh my goodness. Trying to pick this up with your fingers is not the smartest thing. I should get my nemesis, the tongs, because I'm sure that'll go well. Let's see if I want it just a smidge browner. So pick that up. Or not, apparently. Okay, you know what? You know what? Are you kidding me? Oh god, me and tongs and this thing? Yeah, no. This is just what the actual? Fucking hell. Oh, come on. Come on. It literally needs like a smidge more time. Can you guys see this? This, oh god. Okay. Stop! Stay. Okay. It actually has a little thing here to connect it, and I didn't do that, and now I'm wishing I had. Bonsai droids, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna give this just a couple more minutes. I just want a little bit more color. Oh, God damn it! Fuck you. Forget it. Alright. We're going back in. Just needs a few more minutes. Oh. I cannot use tongs. I am the worst. I am the worst. Alright. And now I'm going to have that song stuck in my head, Funk Shop, for the rest of the night. So, yeah. Although, you know what? Considering it's not Baby Shark, I'll take it because, yeah. Just need to grab another bowl, actually, to strain my caramel through. Where's my milk? There it is. This again. Now that we've got that space in there, I just want to get rid of all the lumps that look like I didn't fall. Because, you know, everybody needs at least 8 sets of bowls to wash. Okay. Go. Perfect. Oh my god. I am blown away that this actually worked. I'm so happy. And this caramel looks beautiful. Got that really smell. All the spices. That's it. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, that is beautiful. I am going to add a little bit of flaky salt though. Salt. Because you always want to add salt to anything sweet just to make it enhances the flavor a bit. So I'm just going to put a little bit in. And you can put as much or as little as you want. If you really want like a salted caramel, you can definitely do that. So, I love that combo of emotes, Funk Shop. Just going to give her a stir there. Oh yeah. Okay, I need to give this a try. Just because I think it went just the right color, didn't go too dark. And I'm happy with that. And the best part about caramel is if you seal it tightly, it'll live forever in your fridge. Like if you get a good mason jar, if you put it in something that doesn't have quite that airtight seal, it won't last as long, but I've had jars of caramel that are still perfectly good. Yeah, exactly. Gravy. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, this is Tat Gravy. Yes, a very big spoon. Alright, I'm gonna grab a smaller spoon, because, of course, it is time to try this out. Don't want to whole lot, burn my face off. This is molten sugar after all, so you don't want to take a giant spoon. You definitely want to give it a try. Yes! Ladies and gentlemen, second try, it actually turned out. Oh my goodness. Guys, so good. It's actually funny because chai spice is basically apple pie spice, just with a couple additions like cardamom and then allspice. Well, I add the allspice. But it's basically the same spices that you put in apple pie, so it basically tastes like apple pie caramel. So, this guy, this jerk, done. Gone. You're finished. You're finished. Okay, I'm just gonna take a peek at my pie. Don't want to overcook it. Yeah, the pot of shame and then the pot that worked. So there we go. Let's get this pie out of the oven. Oh yeah, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And I am happy. Yeah, that is cooked way more than it's gonna be. To burn. All right. So let's turn this off. And I'm going to grab something to put my hot pie plate on so I don't ruin my counter. I'm gonna take this guy over. Ooh, he's hot. See? And if I hadn't picked a bigger tray, that for sure would have spilled all over, but there she is, kids. Gotta try and put her a little closer. I am super happy with that. The apples are nice and tender, but not like mushy. I love